I love the story about the Singer sewing machine. Would you give us a little bit of history lesson on how the Singer sewing machine met a non-consumptive need, competing against apathy? It's also a great example for leaders thinking about in America and in the first world, how we can create innovations to build prosperity as well.
That's actually a very important story because it's a reminder that America, right, we consider the land of prosperity, really was an impoverished country. It was not prosperous at all in the 1800s. And all of the things that you would say about some of the world's most impoverished third world countries now was true of America then. It really was. Children worked for pennies and in exploited conditions. There was actually all kinds of manure in the streets of New York because horses were the main mode of transportation. America was all of the things we sneer at in other countries was the case of America. But America, through the innovations of people like Isaac Merritt Singer from Singer Sewing Machines, demonstrates to us what's possible and what the power of innovation is. So Isaac Singer was a bit of a rogue. He wanted to be an actor. He was one of a number of children from an immigrant family, and had no intention of being an inventor or an innovator in any way, shape, or form, but his acting career wasn't going that well. And somehow he took it upon himself to tinker with an existing design for a sewing machine that was not working very well. He didn't invent the sewing machine. It may be the most famous name in sewing, but he didn't invent it. He just figured out how to make it work better. Now, at the time, seamstresses and women in homes would take all day to sew even a single shirt. But he figured out how to improve the sewing machine so that you could create a shirt in, say, an hour. Mm-hmm. And at the time as well, people wondered, would women even be capable of learning this complicated machinery? It was just seen as such a culturally radical shift to create a sewing machine that could not only speed up the work in factories, but could speed up the work in people's homes. So what Singer did so well was see the opportunity, right? Non-consumption. Women were doing nothing. We're sewing at home and people had very few clothes and people didn't need storage and our lives were totally different. He figured that the average woman at home or even in a factory their life would be dramatically changed and shifted by freeing up all that time so that they could either create more, sell more to factories, or create more for their family very quickly. So by creating an actual good design on a sewing machine and selling it door to door, allowing people to buy it on installments, creating his own factories and transportation. It was a global success, a gigantic global success. They were huge in Russia and in Japan. There's still a Singer railway station in Scotland that had been created specifically to get products out of a factory in Scotland. Singer was so successful, he changed not just the idea of being able to sew in your home, but other industries respond around it. Closets, the fact that we all became known as a standard size and we could go into a department store and buy something. All of those things were possible because he made it possible for an average person to sew quickly and created industries that were all around that spawned from that. He was an enormously successful innovator, and it wasn't that he invented it. It was just that he made something better, and he figured out a business model that made sense so that average people, it was accessible and affordable and was life-changing for them.